Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Mayor, I just have to say it was so nice to hear a crowd in this room doing that today.
Yes, it's the first time
That
in
was
a year.
great.
Oh, great. Yes, it is. Now that the governor had repealed the mask mandate, you know, we can all be present together without mask if you, but if you feel like that you need protection, we're all pivoting over to personal responsibility. And we follow CDC guidelines, and we also follow the state and federal. And since our governor did repeal the mask mandate, it's nice to be here. We don't have to social distance, and it's good to see everybody in the chambers again. So, since we have Councilmember Schultz isn't feeling well, and she's joining us on Zoom, so we're going to have to take rolls for this. Okay, very good. So the first item on the agenda is the announcements and proclamations, and we have two proclamations this evening. Our announcements have to do with all of our upcoming meetings. Regular council meetings are scheduled for Tuesday, June 8th at 5:30 p.m. and Tuesday, June 22nd at 5:30 p.m. We have a work session that's scheduled for Tuesday, June 15th at 5:30 p.m. And all of our council meetings and work sessions are in the chambers. We have a special work session that's inclusion and belonging, and that's our fourth session, and that's on Tuesday, June 7th at 5:30 p.m., and that's going to be downstairs in the Dakota B room. We also have a special work session, and this is to interview candidates for our commissions, and we also have a task force, and that will be on Tuesday, May 25th at 3 p.m. and Wednesday, May 26th at 3 p.m. And those interviews are going to be held in Dakota B downstairs as well. So I'm going to read the proclamations from that side. Now, the first proclamation is going to be for EMS Week. And so we'll go through all of that and take some photos with our fire chief and EMS personnel, and then we'll come to the next proclamation, which has to do with our yellow ribbon and our military appreciation. And I'll do it from there, and then we'll also talk about how we're going to do that so we can all take pictures and celebrate all of our students who have chosen the military as secondary to as their post-secondary education, and so forth. And we're very, very pleased. And this is something that we've done for, is this the fifth or sixth year? Fifth year. And each time we do this, the mayor of Savage, Janet Williams, always shows up to help us celebrate our students. And so Mayor Williams is here. And I will do the proclamations from that side. So our first proclamation this evening is for Emergency Medical Service Week. Whereas emergency medical service is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the Burnsville Fire Department are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas the emergency medical service system consists of emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, first responders, educators, administrators, and others. And whereas the members of the Burnsville Fire engage in specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas the 2021 theme is EMS Strong, this is EMS. Caring for our communities, it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of our emergency medical providers. Burnsville Fire, by designating and celebrating Emergency Medical Service Week. Now therefore, I, Elizabeth Couts, Mayor of the City of Burnsville, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim in the City of Burnsville the week of May 16th through the 22nd, 2021, as Emergency Medical Service EMS Week. Proclaim this 18th day of May 2021. And if our chief can come up, please, to receive the proclamation. And then if all of the members of our emergency service personnel, if they can come here, because we're going to take photos, you guys. Yeah.
So we'll take this.
And now you guys stand up.
TV with Kara on. So we should have gotten a TV with Kara on.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Now, this next proclamation, and this is our 5th year, and it's always a very special time for all of us here in Burnsville. And I remember, Councilmember Keeley, when your son was here, and he went into the Marine Corps. And that was 5 years ago?
Yes.
Yeah, he was in the first group, was he not?
One of the first in the.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
It's a great
So it's a very special time for all of us to celebrate all of the young men and women who are going into the military. You're making a great decision for our country. So Burnsville Yellow Ribbon recognitions of students entering the military, whereas the United States military supports the freedom upon which our country was founded. And whereas entering in the military is a noble and important career choice, almost 2.5 million people serve in the active and reserve branches of the military. And whereas the Burnsville Beyond the Yellow Ribbon organization is a nonprofit volunteer organization dedicated to supporting our nation's military, which includes the local active duty, Guard, Reserve, and military veterans communities. And whereas Burnsville Beyond the Yellow Ribbon's volunteer forces assist active duty military members, veterans, and their families with household chores ranging from babysitting, cleaning, to household maintenance. And whereas the Burnsville Yellow Ribbon also connects veterans with state, local, and federal organizations who provide assistance to veterans who are looking to enter the workforce upon completion of military service. And whereas the Burnsville and Savage communities join with the Burnsville Yellow Ribbon organization to honor students who choose to enter the military. And whereas the United States Congress in 2004 passed a resolution proclaiming May as National Military Appreciation Month, a special month to honor both those in and out of the military. Now therefore, I, Elizabeth Couts, Mayor of the City of Burnsville, on behalf of the City Council, proclaim May 16th through the 22nd, 2021 as Military Appreciation Week, with a special emphasis on students who have selected careers in the military, and urge my fellow citizens to observe this period by thanking young people in our community who have chosen to enter the military profession in support of our freedom, health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Proclaim this 18th day of May, 2021. And I would ask that Mike Huddleston, our coordinator and director of our Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, and who has been leading us for the last 7 years?
Yeah.
It was 7 years.
I think that's when I was voluntold.
Well, you retired from the military and you needed something to do. And to his wonderful wife who supports us in all of the things that we do. So, come here. So, and then we'll take this. And then,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right.
So what we'll also do is that once the students are all, when the colonel calls your name and all of that, then if you just stand here, because we're also going to take a photo with all of you. The floor is now yours, Colonel.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for coming. It's great. I wish that we had some more seating, but if those of you who are in the back, hats off to the EMS and the fire department. As I get older, you'll mean more to me. So on behalf of the Burnsville Lions, I just want to say welcome to Mayor Janet Williams, BJ Jungman, you saw, and then Chief Rodney Sewer, and he's here too. So he is a former Marine?
No, always a Marine.
Oh, he's a Marine.
Always a Marine.
I said that on his behalf.
Your Army, Colonel.
Okay, a few things before we present. We got some stuff to present to you, and it's from the Burnsville Lions, the American Legion, and the VFW, and so it's kind of a few things that we gathered together. Some of them were memento, some that went in when I went in or before. We had John Wayne bars. Well, we don't have John Wayne bars anymore. But Nancy was able to get a Hershey bar, and there's other things in there. But we'll get there in a second. But
The city has some swag bags.
yep, some swag bags for the city too. So on behalf of the Burnsville Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program, I would like to extend our sincere congratulations to each of you for your commitment to serve as members of our U.S. Armed Services. This is a very honorable endeavor that we feel should be acknowledged and celebrated before we leave to begin your military training. Since 2017, we have recognized over 66 Burnsville High School students for their selfless service to the military. And throughout the history, citizens around the world have recognized members of the military for their hard work, dedication, and commitment to the mission at hand, be it providing humanitarian relief, emergency assistance, serving in wartime and peacetime military operations around the world, or taking care of citizens at home during times like these. We are proud of the work you have committed to doing in the armed services. And my wife hates this, but I'll go off script now. So I want to say thank you for the family members that showed up today. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your son or daughter is going to be safe. Your son or daughter is accepting what the services are providing, and they'll do a great justice for us. And I want to say thank you to all the family members that are present tonight. Okay, as a small gesture of our gratitude for your career choice to serve our nation, Burnsville Beyond the Yellow Ribbon is presenting you with a Target gift card that we hope will help you purchase needed items at your next duty station. You also will find a few other things in the gift bag, to include a chocolate bar, to remind you of those who came before you and got a John Wayne bar in the MREs, and a protein bar, which serves as an example of the new military. Also, the Burnsville VFW has donated American flags for each student to take home today. These gift bags were made possible through the very generous support of the Burnsville Lions, which are here today, Dave and Terry, members of the community, and the Burnsville VFW. We would also like to thank representatives from the City of Savage, representatives of the Burnsville and Savage Police and Fire Departments, the Two Eagles Marine Detachment, did I say that right? And our Armed Forces recruiters for supporting this endeavor for you. And thank you for all that are helping the Burnsville Lions and unite the community to create a network to support service members, veterans, and their families. So I got some names. I did have. Okay, are these the ones that are here? Okay. So the ones that are here, so we have U.S. Army, U.S. Marines, and the Minnesota National Guard, and I think we have U.S. Navy. Carl, we don't have anybody for the Air Force tonight, I'm sorry, but you got to be present to win, so. And and then we didn't have any Coast Guard. Years ago we had a Coast Guard, so we'll start with the Marine Corps. And the first one is Ahmed Farah Hassan. Are you here? Come on up. Yeah, just the hand over there because they're going to take the picture. Okay. The next one is Michael Lanier. Hey. And the next one, another Marine Corps, Cameron Mendoras. Did I pronounce that right now? Medeiros, Cameron. Okay. Okay, so then let's go with the Minnesota Army National Guard, Randy Beaton. And Kayla Becker. And then the next one is Katie Mendita. I guess it's Kathy, isn't it? Katie. Okay. Okay, U.S. Navy, Connor Sayward. Okay, last but not least, Wyatt Byrne for the Army. So is there any others now? Is there any others? We had like 15, and some of them didn't RSVP. Oh, okay, yep. The other names are Kobe Leonard, Haley Robinson, Haley Clark, Michael Gogi, Daisy Ospey, Richard Biggs, and Peyton Hancock. So those are the ones that are going in, but they didn't RSVP, and we'll link up with them. So,
Okay, and so we'll go to the Petition. You want to bring your proclamation?
oh yeah, we got them, okay?
I gave you.
Okay. Okay, let's go over there.
Come on. And
Get a photo?
Janet. So you take this end, I'll take this end.
Okay. Where do you want me? In the middle?
middle.
All right.
I'll stand next to you, Colonel. Somebody's got to keep track of you.
Okay. If we can have the parents of the students who are here, if they can come and join us too, because you need to be in this photo.
Yep, and they can step behind their
Yeah,
student.
you know,
Yeah,
we'll
go
do that,
behind
yeah.
the student.
Yeah.
Yep,
So it'd be great to have you.
yeah,
Because thank you for your guidance and your support for your children.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to see these kids like.
Okay. They're gonna.
All right.
Okay, we'll get out of the way. One more, sorry. Oh, one more, okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
So as you're taking your seat, I got one story to tell. And this was when my son went into service and then went off to college. And then and at college, they said, hey, look, and it's the same story for the military. They're going to write you, they're going to email you, and then all of a sudden, they're not going to. Okay? And it's going to be silence. And it's not that they fell off the face of the earth. It's just that they're real busy and they're doing a lot of good work. So here's how you get them to call you, write you, whatever. You write a letter and say, hey, Sarah, hey, Johnny, hope you're doing good. Scruffy's doing okay. I hope you like the check that I sent you, and don't send a check. They will call, trust me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, that's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Colonel.
All right.
Thank you, and thank you to the Lions Club and to everybody. And thank you for all of the military, our police, our fire personnel who are here to all support all of our students who are going into the military. So you see all of the support from our community for all of you, because your service means a great deal to all of us, so thank you. Now we will move on, and if you don't want to stay tuned with our meeting, you certainly can leave, yes. And thank you, Mayor Williams, for coming and joining us, yes.
So, right, the background had the wrong Zoom.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So again, I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is conducted both in person and virtual. And we have one of our council members, Councilmember Schultz, is on Zoom with us. And that's the beauty of what COVID has taught us, that we can be in person and virtual. But you can also watch us on channel 16 or 859, or you can go online and watch us on www.burnsvillemn.gov/meetings. You can also zoom in, and you can go to https /Zoom US/join, or you can call us if you wish to speak at one of the items, and that is 651-372-8299. Okay, and there are additional instructions on our website. So the next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. This is the opportunity for anyone to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? Is there anyone in queue? No? Okay, we then will move on, and the next item is additions to the final agenda. And this is for emergency items only. City Manager Lee, are there any emergency items?
There are not, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Members of the council? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a group of items that's considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. However, an item on a consent agenda can be removed for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone who wishes an item to be removed for a separate discussion and vote? Anyone in queue? Okay. City Manager Lee, does staff want to pull any items?
No, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Members of the council? May I have a motion to adopt the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Councilmember Gustafson makes the motion, second by Councilmember Keeley. All in favor? Because we have someone on Zoom, the clerk will take the roll.
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Cowles.
Aye.
Councilmember Keeley.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
And the motion is unanimous. Thank you. We will now move on to the regular agenda, and we have one item on the regular agenda, and that is the American Rescue Plan update. Our city manager, Melanie Mescali, is presenting.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. We will be fairly brief. We will have this as a standing item going forward because there are developments that are happening on a regular basis. But for this week, it's pretty efficient. What I will share with you is what we know today is the latest updates from our last update is on May 10th, the Treasury Department provided guidance for recipients of the funding. They have released what they call an interim final rule, broad guidance with some detail. There is a 60-day comment period for that. So we are reviewing those. We are providing feedback, and I will share with you some of the questions we have asked. They've also issued a frequently asked question. They've provided updated allocations for metropolitan cities. That's what we are considered for this program. And there is a portal to apply for funding. At this point, we have not applied for funding. We expect that we will wait until we have a little bit more understanding of what the funds can be used for and we get further direction from the council. I will share that the allocation has been adjusted. A couple weeks ago, we thought about $6.9 million. We are now a little bit north of $8 million. They use the CBDG, Community Development Block Grant Funding, formula for our allocation that uses a variety of measures, including population, poverty, age of housing. So, additional guidance on eligible uses. As a reminder, there are 4 main categories: responding to the public health emergency for COVID, addressing negative economic impacts, improving access to infrastructure, and then also serving those hardest hit. So what we do know is that that lost revenue category is still an eligible category, of course, but we don't exactly have guidance on what that all includes. The FAQ and the guidance released so far does encourage expenditures to address racial disparities, inequities, disproportionate harm. Essentially, we're hearing where are the real problems, where are the real issues that communities are facing, and how can these funds use to help address them. As a reminder, we do have several years to use these funds. This is a little different than the CARES funding, where we had a very short window of time. We have until December 31st, 2024 to provide an allocation for these funds. So when we think about lost revenue, we're still waiting for additional guidance. I've got some information on this slide that's some detail. I'm not going to read it to you, but really what we're hearing is that lost revenue for general operations is presumed to be COVID related. We are still learning whether that includes our enterprise funds, including the Ames Center and the ice arena. So Treasury is expecting to provide additional technical assistance. We are, as I mentioned, expecting further guidance and clarification on the FAQs. The interim the interim rules are open, comment period is open till July 16th. So we do have a 60-day window that we will be getting ongoing guidance and clarification. And we have submitted a number of questions through the U.S. Conference of Mayors, but also we have been working with NLC, National League of Cities, the League of Minnesota Cities, our MLC partners here locally, U.S. Conference of Mayors, and ICMA. So we've got a number of acronyms, it's like alphabet soup, but we have a number of acronyms of associations that we're working with to advocate for clarity and some of the things that we think are needed for Burnsville. So you'll see these 4 or 5 questions that you've heard us ask before. Our liquor license, are those waiver or fees considered a lost revenue? Again, we're getting clarification on those enterprise funds. Are there opportunities for us to use any of these funds for economic development purposes? Building back better, building our infrastructure, building our fiscal resiliency within our community? Is there a way we can use any of our funds to help with that? We use fund balance to help shore up some of the pressures of 2020 and 2021. Can we use these funds to help replenish that fund balance that we drew down? And can property value declines for large mall retail be considered a lost revenue? COVID had a very strong impact on our retail market. So does that decline in property value, is that considered an eligible lost revenue? So as we learn more, we will be coming back to the council. We've begun to already lay out some options for the council to be thinking about. So we'll be presenting those here as we get further guidance that fall within these 4 categories of eligible uses. I do understand that council has said lost revenue is a priority, so we will make sure that that is addressed and clarified, and we can quantify that for you. With that, that's all I have for updates, but I'm happy to stand for any questions or see what other information you might be looking for.
Yeah,
So-
Councilmember Gustafson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we can expect to make decisions sometimes mid to late July, first part of August is where we're kind of be at with this.
Madam Mayor and Council, I think we will certainly have a much better understanding in the next 30 days, next 60 days. And it is my hope that we would be working with the council to kind of continue to narrow the focus on what your priorities are.
So we'll all
yes.
be in the same boat, basically, for all the agencies that are, there's so many targeted funds out there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a pretty good idea where those funds ended up before we
Right.
start making our decisions. All right.
Indeed, yes, that's a very good point, that there are a lot of other buckets of money, that's the technical term I've been using, all sorts of money out there. We want to make sure that we are filling a need that isn't already being met in another program.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to thank our city manager because she's been busy monitoring and managing a lot of this, and so have I on other areas. So because we're focused on our allocation, the money that comes directly to us. So we have to make sure that we use those funds in a way that helps the city. So, but there are other buckets, but, it's really understanding how we do all of that. And sometimes probably having a better understanding of where all those buckets are. Maybe even later that we can apply for some of those grants, and we won't have it right now. So, but, yeah, there's just a whole lot. Councilmember Keeley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to try and bounce off Councilmember Gustafson's question. Roughly July, mid-July, has the government provided any guidance on when they believe they'll finalize all guidance for how the money can be spent, so we can then get to work? I mean, is there a date certain, or is it just approximately another 6 weeks or so, or 8 weeks?
So there's a 60-day window for which they will take feedback, questions, clarity, and I am expecting that throughout that 60 days, we'll continue to get clarity. I believe at that 60-day period, we would expect to have what would be the final parameters of the program and what is eligible.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And the other two major programs are shuttered venue and restaurants. Is there any others that are called out as a carve-out with specific money set aside, or just those two?
No, the SBA has quite a few set-asides, and so we're still also trying to understand that. And one of the things that I've been working on is this is a new program, and that is from the SBA, and it's a set-aside. It's a community navigator program, and there's $100 million that they've allocated. Remember, a lot of our immigrants and women-owned business and all of that had a very difficult time during the CARES Act to apply. So this money, and I quickly, once I got it, sent it to our city manager and our community development director, because this is just coming out. I had a meeting on it on Tuesday or Monday with this, and so it's under the. Remember, I said that we would try and be a one-stop shop and for resources. Well, now we have some money to partner with a nonprofit, and perhaps it might be the chamber. We're still having that discussion, so we can apply for money to help us be that resource center. So that's where this $100 million are there. So we can, City Manager Lee and Ms. Faulkner will take a look at that. I'll just keep pushing all the information to them, and then they'll have discussions about who we should partner. I did say we want to make sure the businesses in Burnsville get the help that they need, because we have a lot of immigrant business, mom and pops, those small businesses that didn't understand that they could apply for these. Some of our photographers, because of all of this, didn't have, and they didn't know, and they didn't apply. So that's where some of this, Yeah,
in the first round, there was a refresher. Most cities, counties, and the state excluded almost, I would say, most businesses from qualifying. And we didn't. We basically excluded almost no one and let everyone apply who had losses. And hopefully this time around, those cities and the counties and the state will take a cue from our lead and our example and open it up, because there are a lot of businesses that were harmed that if they didn't live in Burnsville, they didn't have an opportunity to even apply for some grants.
And we have a lot of, if you go to the mall, all of those kiosks, a lot of immigrants run those businesses, and they didn't even know that there was an opportunity for a grant. And so when I did share that information with them, it was hard for them to also even apply, to read through all of that. And that's what happened to some of the restaurants like T&J. Didn't know how to answer the questions. So that's what this Navigator program is going to be.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good use of that money. Is that $100 million for program structure and support, or actual grants themselves?
No, so that'll help them to apply for the
So
grants.
it's really the program and the support
It's the
services.
support services that will
Right,
help them
to help people access a grant, or?
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's really hard. You know, a lot of people have to go to training to write grants, isn't that? You have to, and so if you're going to do that, if you don't have an accountant that would help you to write for some of those grants, whereas ours was a very simple grant application, and we wanted it to be simple so that people didn't have the burden of trying to answer all of those questions. And I believe ours was a one-pager.
We tried to
City
keep it
manager
very
Lee?
simple,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We did,
Yeah.
The other thing is $100 million is a lot of money to any one person. It sounds like a lot of money.
But it's the whole United States.
Support the entire United States. If it doesn't have a B next to it, it's not gonna go very far. So, obviously, and many things are on a first come, first serve.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you were able to call that out, and
Yeah.
we're gonna pursue,
Yeah.
applying for some of those funds.
And also, I reached out to the administrator because the trade show industry appeared to have been left out. And they construct and design these big trade show designs. So I reached out to the administrator. Within 24 hours, she got back to me, and I was able to connect her with Showcraft, with Gerald Ballou, and she got back to me, and her executive assistant also emailed me right away, just following hers, and said, here are the people who are on that issue. So it's been
That's
really
good.
terrific.
Yeah, think of a business like the hospitality that was harmed dramatically, and the trade show business was essentially shut down for a year.
Yeah,
Much like, and maybe more harm.
Yeah.
Because there was no gathering of large people, which is trade shows, where some of the other hospitality sectors were able to have some business.
Yeah.
They were virtually shut down
Shut
to
down.
zero for a year.
yeah, yeah. And City Manager Lee and I also got information that the restaurant fund was oversubscribed. Well, because throughout the whole United States, it was first come, first serve, and you had to just jump on it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see where that all goes. Are there any other questions? Yeah. Thank you, City Manager Lee. Members of the council, there are no other items to come before us this evening.
Motion
And
to adjourn?
Councilmember Keely makes the motion, second by Councilmember Gustafson. Do we have to take the roll? Okay. City Clerk Collins, will you take the roll, please?
Councilmember Gustafson.
Aye.
Mayor Couts.
Aye.
Councilmember Keely.
Aye.
Councilmember Schultz.
Yes.
Councilmember Workman.
Aye.
And we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for being with us. Good night.